Hi, my name is Shenli Puterbaugh, and I'm the founder and CEO of Inspire Family History. I'm excited to be here with you today to talk about the studies that prove the benefits of family history. Thanks for joining me to talk about how great family history really is. Most of us find a lot of joy in doing family history. We build trees, make discoveries, learn stories, connecting with family both living and deceased. But it isn't always clear how doing and learning our family history is affecting us. That's why I'm here to share with you the proven benefits of family history. You may just be starting on your journey to learn about your family's history, or you may be an experienced researcher. But no matter what your experience, understanding the benefits of family history can help you make it more of a priority, help you stay motivated, or help in sharing the excitement of family history with others. I love genealogy, and I have felt many benefits over the years from connecting with my ancestors and learning their stories. It started when I visited all of my grandparents over a 2-week span right after I graduated from high school. I recorded their life stories, went through old boxes, and visited places that were important to them and their ancestors. I came back with over 1,000 names to add to my family tree. As you can imagine, the impact of this experience was indescribable and priceless. Over the years, I've clearly felt the benefits of learning and connecting with my ancestors, and I've also seen how much others have benefited from doing their own family history from the stories they've shared with me. As I've learned about the proven benefits of family history by scholars all over the world, what I was experiencing finally made sense and was actually proven. As you can imagine, I want my children to experience the benefits too. This is my family. My husband and I have been married for 12 years. We have 3 kids, 11, 9, and 1. We love having fun and learning together, and one of the ways we do this is by doing family history. We do lots of fun family history activities that inspire them to want to do more. My hope is that by understanding the proven benefits of family history, you and your families can experience the benefits too. The first study I'm going to share is from Martha Draznik, a professor at Oregon Health and Science University. Her studies and practice have focused on nursing and specifically helping her patients improve by incorporating the discovery of family stories into their treatments. In 2017, she wrote an article in the Journal of Family Medicine called "Who Are You From? The Importance of Family Stories." She explores the role of internal or genetic and external or family stories in building resilience in stress, disease, and illness. Her findings are incredible. Before I go into her findings, I want to highlight the title of her article. I love it. When we meet people, what do we often want to know? Where are you from? We focus on locations and on our geographic heritage when doing genealogy. We focus on countries or cultures. I have a degree in international cultural studies, so I really love countries and cultures, but something additional we can ask is, who are you from? Who am I from? We are from our ancestors. We are who we are because of them. An interesting fact is that from our parents all the way back to our 10th great grandparents, each of us have 8,190 direct ancestors. If you have 8,190 people line up, the line would be about 3 miles long. That's a lot of people that we are from and who make up who we are, both genetically and culturally. Who were these people? And what are their stories? As you learn about these people, you will learn about you. Now back to the study. Martha Draznik said, research has shown that stories allow us to bypass or go beyond linear thinking to access whole brain learning, because hearing a story helps us activate and connect more areas of our brain. Her studies showed that reminiscing or thinking about our past has been associated with improved psychological well-being, reduced feelings of loneliness and depression, finding meaning in life, improved mood, and life satisfaction. She also found that when you add family stories, positive memories, and the ability to bounce back from difficult ones to reminiscing, the benefits increase to include improved self-esteem, enhanced feelings of control and mastery over life as one ages, and coming to grips with life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Through observations of her patients and extensive research, Martha concluded, knowing one's family stories creates meaning that goes beyond the individual to provide a sense of self through time and in relation to family. This expanded sense of self is referred to as our intergenerational self, which not only grounds an individual, but also provides a larger context for understanding and dealing with life's experiences and challenges. This connection across generations appears to contribute to resilience at all stages of life. An intergenerational narrative is beneficial because it gives us context to make meaning that goes beyond ourselves individually, to provide a sense of self through time and in relation to family, as she said. She compares having a sense of intergenerational self to an internal geographic information system. When we know our family stories, we gain a sense of being part of something larger than ourselves, and in turn are more likely to find our way home, no matter where we are and no matter what curveballs life throws at us. Martha Draznik found that this intergenerational self contributes to resilience at all stages of life. As you will see as we continue, resilience is a common theme in studies of the benefits of family history and knowing our family stories. The Oxford Dictionary defines resilience as the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. We all need resilience. I need resilience. Our children need resilience. Families need resilience. We all need resilience, especially in the world we live in right now. And family history can help with that. Ron Brezel, the founder and executive director of Psychological and Educational Services in Maine, said, resilient people actually resist illnesses, cope with adversity, and recover quicker because they're able to maintain a positive attitude and manage their stress effectively. There are even health benefits from learning family stories. The next studies that I want to talk about, these are the most popular studies done to date in regards to family history. They were done by Robin Phavish and Marshall Duke, who are professors of psychology at Emory University, and Jennifer Bohanek, who is a postdoctoral fellow. The main study was titled, Do You Know? The Power of Family History in Adolescent Identity and Well-Being. In their first study, they observed and documented family dinner table conversations. They noticed that all families shared their day-to-day experiences, but some also shared their families' stories. They found that children whose families discussed family stories experienced less anxiety, depression, anger, aggression, and acting out. Later, they furthered their study by studying the power of family history in adolescent identity and well-being. They studied 66 middle-class mixed-race 14 to 16-year-old adolescents from two-parent families. They were asked to complete a measure of family history, what they called the Do You Know scale, as well as multiple standardized measures of family functioning, identity development, and well-being. This Do You Know scale consisted of 20 yes or no questions asking the children to report if they know things such as how their parents met or where they grew up and went to school. This scale was administered to the same families as the dinner table conversation study. The children who scored higher were the same families who told more family stories over a typical dinner table conversation. This additional study showed that adolescents who report knowing more stories about their familial past showed higher levels of emotional well-being and also higher levels of identity achievement, even when controlling for general level of family functioning. Additional benefits that they found were higher levels of emotional well-being, higher levels of identity achievement, internal control, higher self-esteem, higher reported family function, higher reported family traditions, lower child anxiety, depression, anger, aggression, and acting out, as we mentioned before, sense of self-worth, ability to plan for the future, and acceptance of oneself. 2 months after this study was done, the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 took place. Marshall Duke, Robin Phavish, and Jennifer Bohanek went back to reassess the children from the study. Even though the families they had studied had not been directly affected by the events, all the children had experienced the same national trauma at the same time. Once again, the ones who knew more about their families proved to be more resilient. They were able to handle and bounce back from this national trauma in a healthier way. The next ones I want to talk about are by Robin Phavish and Natalie Merrell of Emory University again. They also wrote an article titled An Ecological Systems Approach to Family Narratives. It focuses specifically on stories or narratives in families. A family narrative is the story of our family. The reason narratives are important is that narratives of others, especially family members, also become part of our own autobiography and guide our personal future. Narratives are the ways that we make sense of life. Narratives include thoughts, emotions, motivations, intentions, and evaluations. Phavish and Merrell found that there are 3 types of family narratives. The first is the ascending family narrative, which goes something like, we had nothing, we worked hard, and now we're successful. The descending family narrative goes something like, we used to have it all, then we lost everything. And the third family narrative is the oscillating family narrative, and it's the most healthful. We've had ups and downs, and no matter what happened, we always stuck together. The oscillating family narratives are important because they show the positives and negatives of a family, and both are important to know and share. It may seem natural to avoid stories of failure and setbacks, but they are important to your family narrative. Imagine what would happen if we only learned the positive stories when we learned about world history. We would miss a lot of important stories of history. Just like it's important to know the positives and negatives of world history, it's important to learn the positive and negative stories of our family history. A true family narrative includes successes and failures. From successes, we can feel inspired, motivated, and empowered by examples. From failures, we can learn what not to do, how they made it through and overcame setbacks, and that things eventually got better. All of these lessons are important. Stories about our family become a part of our own autobiography and guide our personal future. As others tell us their experiences, we understand our own experiences in new ways as well by using others' stories as frames. Our family stories are so important. The fourth and final study I'm going to share with you, I have found very interesting, and it's called the Ancestor Effect. Thinking about our genetic origin enhances intellectual performance. In 2011, professors from the University of Graz in Austria, the University of Berlin, and the University of Munich did a unique 4-part study. Each of them went a little deeper into the Ancestor Effect. For the first part, they had 80 students from the University of Cologne in Germany. A third of the students were told, please imagine your ancestors in the 15th century. That is your great, 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 and so on grandparents. Please imagine what they did at that time, how they lived, what their profession was, and how many children they had, etc. Please also imagine what your ancestors from that time would tell you today if you were still able to meet them. Please think about that until the experimenter gives you a sign. The second third was asked to think about their great-grandparents and were told the same thing as the first group, except they said great-grandparents instead of ancestors from the 15th century. The last third were asked to think about their last supermarket visit, what they bought and how they felt about it. In all conditions, participants were given exactly 5 minutes to think about their assigned topic. They were then given a survey to see what they expected their intellectual performance would be. On a scale of 0 to 10, they answered the following questions, with 0 being not at all and 10 being very much. How well do you think you will perform in the final social psychology exam? How well will you conclude your semester studies? And what they found is that the ones that thought about their ancestors from the 15th century or their great-grandparents expected that their intellectual performance would be higher. In the second study, their goal was to see if they would actually perform better on an intelligence test. There were 31 participants from the University of Graz. The first group was asked to draw their own family tree. They were given 5 minutes. Those in the second group were asked to write a few sentences about their last shopping trip. All participants then had 4 minutes to answer a series of 25 verbal analogies questions from the Wild Intelligence Test 2. The result was the group that thought about their ancestors scored higher on the intelligence test. The third part of this study tested to see if it mattered whether people thought about ancestors who they never met or ancestors such as parents or grandparents who they had met. There were 39 students from the University of Graz who participated. 1/3 wrote a short essay about an ancestor from the 15th century. 1/3 wrote a short essay about an ancestor they had met in their life, and the last third wrote a short essay about a close friend. They were asked to think hard about these people and write everything that came to mind about them. Both groups that thought about ancestors had the same positive intellectual results. Thinking about our ancestors who we have met and those who lived long before us both gave positive intellectual results. This study also ruled out that the ancestor effect is because we are thinking about people we like. The final part of the study was to see if the results would be different for those who thought about positive stories about ancestors or negative stories. This study was done with 82 students from the University of Graz. A quarter of the group thought about positive stories about their ancestors, and a quarter thought about positive stories from their own life. Another quarter thought about negative stories from an ancestor's life, and the last quarter thought about negative stories from their own life. The individuals who thought about their ancestors' stories, positive or negative, performed higher on their intellectual tasks than thinking about positive or negative stories from their own lives. This ruled out the fact that the ancestor effect was caused by self-affirmation. The conclusion was, thinking about one's genetic origin provides people with a positive psychological resource that increases their intellectual performance. I thought this was so fascinating, that the ancestor effect didn't depend on whether participants thought about positive or negative aspects of their ancestors. Just thinking about your ancestors helps us to perform better intellectually than we would otherwise. Positive and negative family stories are important to know. So often when we do family history, we're focused on the names, dates, and places. We build our tree and see the people and where they are from and where they lived. I was recently talking with my husband, and he said, my question when I do family history has changed. I'm looking at documents and records to piece together my family story. My family story is part of my story, and I am part of my family story. As he started researching with the question, what are my ancestors' stories? His research has become incredibly engaging and exciting for him. He's learned positive stories that have strengthened him and negative stories that he's had to process and learn from. I thought this was so insightful. When we learn about our ancestors, we're learning about ourselves. If you're interested in learning more about processing negative family stories, which I think all of us need to, I recommend that you watch a TED Talk by Dr. Judith Landau. She has incredible insights on difficult family history. To put family stories into perspective, think about your family history as a 3-act play. The first act is the history of your family. The second act is now. And the third act is your posterity. You are in the second act. Until you understand your family story, you don't know what happened in Act 1. How important is it for you and your posterity to understand Act 1? Learn the stories of your ancestors. Family history will come alive to you in an even greater and deeper way, and you will experience the proven benefits of family history that we've talked about today. The benefits of what these 4 studies prove are listed here. As we learn our family history, we can become stronger. We can become resilient. We can develop greater self-confidence, as well as all of these other benefits. We can be equipped to face the challenges of life head on. That's what I want for myself, for my children, for my extended family, and for everyone. I hope that this understanding gives you increased motivation to do family history, learn your family stories, and also encourage your family and friends to do family history and help them see the benefits they can experience. I have felt these benefits, and my goal is to help as many people as possible experience them too. That's why I founded Inspire Family History. At Inspire Family History, we provide ideas, tools, and resources to inspire children of all ages to love family history. When you think about genealogy, we're all children, so the resources we provide really is for everyone. I would encourage you to check out inspirefamilyhistory.com to see the 3 keys for inspiring others to love family history. Also, follow Inspire Family History on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see regular ideas, articles, and products. You can also sign up for our newsletter by subscribing on our website. I would love to hear from you. Feel free to contact me with questions or with your own experiences. Thank you.